Are hippos OP? What the fuck? God damn.
This episode is sponsored by Dashlane.
That's a lion.
Africa, the game's hardcore server. On top of the
See, whenever I made that joke, people got mad, but he can make it and everything's fine.
potentially lethal heat and disease debuffs.
Yeah.
Many of the most powerful builds in the game are playable only on the Africa server. Everyone knows the big names. Elephants are the biggest, cheetahs are the fastest, cobras are the most venomous, etc. However, one of the builds that frequently gets overlooked is the hippopotamus. Even though none of their stats are the best in a single category, there are things that they do better than anything else. So today I'm going to give an overview of the hippopotamus' stats and abilities, talk about its good and bad matchups, and where I'd rate it in the overall tier list.
God damn,
I've already done one video that sort of touches on all these things, but since it was one of the first videos I ever made, it's pretty lacking in quality.
Yeah.
So hopefully this guide will do a better job doing the topic justice.
That's good. I'm very glad
Anyway,
he's
without
doing
further
this.
ado, let's get into it.
It's really important
Hippos
we
are
get
the
into
premier
this.
tank build of the African aquatic meta. Their success comes from a combination of phenomenal stats and from speccing into abilities that allow for some pretty ingenious exploitation of the game's water physics.
That's what I'm
which
saying,
I'll get
dude.
into in a bit. But first, their stats. So you probably noticed that the Hippo stats are, in a word, phenomenal. They have one of the highest HP levels of any land build, second
You
only to
can't
the
do
elephant.
anything to him.
Normally, builds with one unusually high base
You
stat
can't
tend
do
to
shit.
have major shortcomings in other areas. But the Hippo simply doesn't. While
It
its
has
intelligence
no-
is only average, all the rest of their stats
It has
far
no
outclass most
weakness.
other African builds. They have great damage, high defense,
It's
and even have
unstoppable.
great stealth for a build in such a high weight class. But perhaps
see
the
this?
most surprising is their mobility level, which
Yep.
relates to how their abilities let them engage in physics engine exploits.
Look at
like
him
I mentioned
going.
earlier. So, in addition to having relatively high run speed on
What
land,
the
hippos
fuck?
are also unbelievably mobile in the water.
Holy
Now, normally when
shit,
designing a character to be
dude.
fast in the water, you spec into traits
Wow.
like, you know, water mobility. Things like
Oh
a
my
streamlined
God.
body, fins, flukes,
I didn't know they
all
could
these
go that
things strictly
fast.
buff water speed, and usually are the go-to for players trying to take their character to new depths in the aquatic meta.
Yeah.
The Hippo player base decided to do exactly none of that, instead dumping most of their evolution points into pure bulk and muscle.
Yeah.
As a result, hippos are so dense that, unlike most animals, they do not float. This lets them be one of the only builds that can actually use the run movement option underwater with any success.
No
Hippos,
fucking
despite
way.
not actually being able to swim, have
No
one of the best
fucking
aquatic
way.
movement options in the game, and they didn't even have to spend any
submarine.
evolution points on aquatic mobility to do so.
This is
So,
incredible.
hippos have 4 signature abilities. The first being their water dash ability that I just explained.
Yeah.
Their second ability is their 2-inch thick skin.
This is what I'm
This
saying.
ability
Yeah,
is
this
the
right
reason
here.
behind their high defense level, and it grants them some of the best resistances in the
Look
game.
at that.
Particularly to the common threats in the
He
African
doesn't even
server.
care.
It grants them near total immunity to slash and bite
Look
type
at that.
damage. Since claws and teeth simply are
He's
too
just
short to
walking
pierce their
around.
skin, this lets them shrug off the vast majority of standard attacks in the African
Didn't
meta,
even do
and
shit
is also
to him.
crucial for letting them
didn't
survive
do
attacks
shit.
even from groups of enemies, which is normally the
He
answer
just-
to defeating a high HP target.
Just walking
Defending
around.
from physical attacks is important, but it's just as critical to make sure your elemental
tagging
resistances
them.
are adequate too. Because hippos have spec'd
Oh
into
my
the hairless
God.
trait in order to minimize mobility debuffs in the water, they're highly vulnerable
Wow.
to solar damage. In order to mitigate this issue, hippos have spec'd into sweat that grants them UV resistance and, as an added bonus, grants them resistance to infection, another hugely beneficial trait to have when you spend most of your time in unclean water, potentially with open wounds. The only downside is that, while active, it gives the hippo players a reddish tint, temporarily lowering their stealth level. Their
Oh my
last
God.
special trait is their tusks. Hippos haven't spec'd into carnivory or even omnivory,
But they just
they're strictly
attack.
herbivorous and can't gain any XP from meat.
Yeah.
However, regardless of this fact, they have one of the most damaging bites in the game.
Oh.
On top of the sheer force of the bite itself, which is around a ton by the way, their
What the
tusks deal
fuck?
massive damage to anything they puncture. But on top of the hippo's damage
What the
potential, their
fuck?
tusks offer another important benefit: intimidation. So
Yeah.
the most effective intimidation techniques are the ones that can be quickly switched on and off.
Oh my
A coral snake's
God. Who
colors
could do
are always
that?
bright.
That's
and a spider
nasty.
is always creepy. But
Yeah.
hippos aren't always terrifying.
No,
in
they're
fact,
cute.
most of the time they appear non-threatening.
That's right.
Yet in an instant, they
And
can
then
crank
surprise,
up the intimidation
bitch.
to 100 just by opening their mouths.
Look at that.
A hippo player with
Holy
intimidation active is one of the most intimidating things in the entire game.
This is a
Easily being
beast.
able to scare off even some of the bulkiest builds.
See that?
like rhinos.
That's why I
so
told you
for
guys.
Matchups, hippos sport one of the most comfortable matchup spreads possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're highly resistant to bite and slash attacks, Most of the relevant predator matchups, such as crocodiles, lions, hyenas,
it doesn't
and
even
painted
matter,
dogs
dude.
are highly
They just
favorable
run
for the
away.
hippo.
They know what's going to
On top
happen.
of this, the hippo's own attacks can one-shot any of those predators. As for bad matchups, any builds that focus on stab-type weaponry can definitely give a hippo a hard time.
Oh, shit.
In particular, elephants and rhinos both have long enough horns or tusks to pierce the hippo's thick skin and deal critical damage to a hippo foolish enough to challenge them.
Oh, damn.
Fortunately, the rhino's low intelligence makes it highly susceptible to intimidate abilities, so that
just
matchup is by
stupid.
no means unwinnable. Elephants,
Rhinos
though,
are
they'll walk
stupid?
straight through a group
I
of
didn't
hippo
know
players,
that.
knowing none of them will challenge it. Also,
Wow.
ironically, one of the worst matchups for a hippo is another hippo, since a hippo's tusks do have the potential to pierce their
God damn, look
defenses.
at
The last
look at those
important
two
match
assholes.
to discuss for them is how they fare against humans. And in this regard, they've got one of the best records of all.
Yeah.
Obviously, they still lose to the highly advanced equipment that humans have recently
big
unlocked.
surprise there.
But aside from that, humans don't have any way to combat them. As a result, hippos have the highest KD
Shit.
ratio versus humans in the entire game.
Wait, really?
Even special high-level mounts
See, I told
like
you guys.
boats and trucks can be taken down by a hippo. So where
Not
do
the
hippos
cod truck, I'll
belong
tell you
on
that.
the tier list? Well, considering how they're basically unstoppable tanks that manage to spec into an excellent
That's an
semi-aquatic
S, dude.
playstyle
That's a
without
100%
sacrificing
S.
any land-based abilities to do so, it's tough to argue that they're anything but S tier. They easily control any rivers or lakes that they're in, being even more dominant than crocodiles. In fact, while currently the vast majority of the hippo player base is in the African server, a few of them have recently broken into the South American meta. Now, hippos have one of the lower spawn rates in the game, so it'll be a while before we can really assess their viability in servers outside of Africa.
No.
But I would bet that eventually hippos will be one of the most dominant builds
They're gonna
in South
take
America
over?
too, especially since they have great matchups against the top tiers there
Pablo
too,
Escobar
like the
brought him
caiman and the
over.
jaguar. The piranha player base might give them a hard time though, so we'll have to wait and see. Their thick hide offers a lot of protection, but with hundreds of bites chipping it away, even the hippo might struggle. Protecting your hit points is critical to survival in the current meta, but perhaps equally important is protecting your passwords, and that's where today's sponsor Dashlane comes in. Dashlane is what I personally use to protect my passwords and keep myself safe online.
So
it literally does everything. It's not just a password manager to combat them.
Look at this, dude. I'm telling you, man. Like, I knew that hippos were dangerous. I knew they were dangerous. Nobody needed to tell me that at all. If we watch the elephant video, well, that's going to be the last one we take a look at, okay? But right now, we'll watch the elephant video, because I do think, like, hippos, like, elephants are, like, the aesthetic choice. But hippos are the choice for, like, the people that are, like, the metagamers. Hippo is like the metagamer choice. Like, if you want to have just like the strongest, beefiest, best character, hippos are min-maxed as fuck. But elephants, they look really fucking cool. And I think that's a big positive right there. Hippo for PvP, elephant for PvE. Yeah, something like that. Okay, we'll take a look at the elephant one, and then I do want to move on and actually finish Throne of Thunder. And then look at some of the stuff in Shadowlands too.
This video was made in partnership with CuriosityStream.
Okay. That's a buffalo. Wait. Elephants suck.
Being the largest land build in the current meta has its
advantages. Elephants suck. What the hell?
Makes you much harder to defeat, simply by nature of having a higher HP stat, and also possibly having your weak points out of reach.
Yeah, of course.
Size alone typically isn't enough to let any particular build reach a high tier spot in the meta, because large size comes with a lot of disadvantages too. The two most important ones are that being a giant makes defeating you worth a lot more experience, and that sustaining giant size requires significantly more food and water.
It does.
Despite these challenges, there's no question that elephants have carved out a dominant niche in the African meta, which is saying a lot given that Africa is basically the Grandmaster League server of outside. Elephants also boast a sizable player base in the Asia server, so how is it that they're so successful? For that, we'll need to look at the elephant build stats.
That elephant's skinny as fuck, man.
First, their stats. So it's probably no surprise that the elephant's HP and defense stats both are quite high. The massive size of the elephant means it can take hits that would cripple or kill other players, such as the head bash of a fellow elephant.
God
damn! The elephant also boasts a thick hide that allows it to negate damage of low power attacks. And more importantly,
Cheetah's just running him down.
Downsides of being massive. becoming riddled with parasites. On the offensive side of things, it's probably also no surprise that the elephant boasts a multitude of ways to deal serious damage. Their front-facing
rhinos are so
act
stupid,
as a powerful
dude.
disjointed hitbox that can both parry incoming attacks and impale any player
God
too slow to get out of
damn.
the way. The elephant
just, like,
build
get
is
the
also one of the only builds in the game capable of knocking down trees.
What the
This means that despite them not having the height advantage that giraffes do, they can still
God
access the
damn.
same treetop loot if they need to.
They just knocked that
It
shit
also means
down.
players cannot escape an elephant's attack by climbing up a tree. The elephant's trunk can also be used as a blunt force weapon or a grapple. But honestly,
Don't
that
fuck
only
with them.
scratches the surface of what a trunk is used
You don't
for.
fuck with them.
We'll come back to that. In the mobility department, we find one of the elephant's only weaknesses.
So
Their top speed is
I never feel bad for people that get hit by an animal like that. It's like, this is a wild fucking animal. And you're like, oh, it's so cute. It's just like in Toy Story. Wow, it's like Madagascar, but real life. And it slaps you in the fucking head. Because you know what? It's not like Madagascar. It's like a fucking elephant. And elephants do whatever the hell they want.
nowhere near sufficient to let them outrun an attacking player or chase down a target. Luckily, their other stats generally mean that they don't have to worry about this. However, low mobility has other implications too. Elephants are easily blocked by environmental barriers because they lack the ability to jump. They aren't particularly fast swimmers either, although they have ways of managing this weakness too.
These things suck, dude.
Their last notable stat is their incredible intelligence level. It is among the highest in the game, tied for second place with the cetaceans like dolphins and whales.
Wait, really?
This gives them access to the tool use ability, problem-solving capabilities, cross-species cooperation-based strategies, and the ability to remember places on the minimap useful for survival.
So that means, remember, he hit that dude in the head. He knew what the fuck he was doing. He's like, hey, shut the fuck up, bitch. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, so he knew what he was doing. That's the best part about it. So if elephant fucks with you, you know that it was, you know, because you did something wrong.
Such as watering holes in times of drought.
Yeah.
Due to the elephant's long lifespan, their intellect can cause them to gain incredible amounts of wisdom over the course of their playthrough, to the point where an experienced elephant may have better knowledge of its territory than even a human. So in terms of stats, elephants obviously have one of the highest base stat totals in the game, lacking only in mobility and stealth. But this alone would not be enough for me to give them a top tier rating. So what abilities do they employ to make use of their stats and dominate such a competitive meta? There are two that I want to discuss. First, their ears. The elephant's ears serve multiple purposes.
They're
cool. More sensitive than human ears to sound, particularly low-frequency sounds, aka the kinds of sounds elephants can make.
What the fuck?
Because of that, elephants can communicate over great distances via infrasound. This can be critical for coordinating team strategies and warning your teammates when danger approaches, or if another herd is encroaching on your territory. In addition to their auditory uses, the elephant's ears also grant the elephant a heat resistance buff. Their ears can be flushed with blood and flapped around to lower their body temperature.
They're like fans!
Ensuring that they never take damage from overheating.
Look at that!
This buff is much more integral to gameplay in the African server.
Yeah,
so players tend to spec into larger ears when trying to compete.
Look at that.
That's a good ability, but I'm going to cut to the chase.
They can throw a rock?
Everything OP about the elephant can be traced back to their signature ability, their trunk. Because this ability does everything. Because it's a modified nose, the trunk grants a bonus to all detection and search rolls based on smell.
What the fuck?
This lets elephant players pinpoint which direction they need to head in order to find more food or water, and lets them know if an enemy player is nearby. But smell barely scratches the surface of what a trunk can do.
What?
The trunk's core use is as a fifth appendage.
What?
The elephant's actual limbs aren't very versatile. Outside of standing and walking, the most advanced move they can do is a pretty simple kick. The trunk has multiple combat moves, including a simple bash
That dude was probably fucking with his tail.
And more importantly, a highly effective grab attack. The bash attack is honestly
ostrich. Like, listen, you just look at an ostrich, you want to punch. You look at an ostrich, you want to punch that thing in the fucking head. I don't know about you guys, but like I see it, I just want to punch that motherfucker in the head. I just look at him with his stupid ass head, with his stupid ass eyes, his stupid ass beak. He. Punch him right in the fucking head, man. Had enough of him. Like, just looking at him. They have that attitude about him. It just pisses me off.
Worse than a kick in terms of damage, although it does have better range.
Just knocks him away.
The grab attack can make certain matchups downright unwinnable for the other player.
Yeah.
Grabs aren't just useful for attacks, though. Being able to pick up and carry items is the hallmark of a high-tier character that can make use of tools.
He used a sword!
Elephants are known to use sticks as weapons, massively extending the hitbox of their trunk swipe attack.
What the fuck?
They can also throw items, which theoretically could give them an absolutely massive attack range.
Missed.
They aren't very accurate with their throws yet, but once the elephant player base masters this tech, I wouldn't be surprised if the community starts calling for bans. But again, there's still more that the trunk can do.
But they don't even make any hits.
The next use it can have is for intimidation. Elephants can use their trunk to execute the move Trumpet Blast. This AoE attack casts an intimidation debuff on all surrounding players.
It's intimidating shout
for clearing an area. Control over a watering hole can mean the difference between leveling up or getting a game over.
Oh my god, dude.
And the Trumpet Blast attack is integral to the elephant's success in driving away other players from these control points, without actually needing to risk a physical battle. Lastly, I mentioned before that elephants are slow swimmers. Normally this would be a problem because it means elephants would have trouble crossing large bodies of water.
Yeah?
They aren't dense enough to sink to the bottom and gallop across like hippos do. However, even though it might take them a while to cross, elephants have no reason to fear drowning, because they can use their trunk like a snorkel, completely negating the need to worry about their O2 meter draining. Aside from humans...
So an elephant could go all the way across the ocean. Like, I mean, hypothetically, you know what I mean? Like, no? Alright, not really, not exactly. Okay, yeah, probably not. But, like, they go across, like, a lake. That would be fucking insane. They'd get tired? Yeah, I guess so.
Elephants have no losing matchups. While they are vulnerable during the first few levels of their playthrough, before they are bulky enough to shrug off most attacks, the elephants' team strategies are usually enough to protect the noobs. Hopefully this video convinced you how overpowered elephants, and particularly the trunk ability, are.
Yeah.
By the way, you may have noticed that my last video actually got blocked. While I hope to have the video restored soon, you should know that the blocked video as well as another completely original video are both available on Nebula, the video streaming service created and owned by several independent creators, including myself. It's a platform where creators can post whatever content they like without having to worry about rogue algorithms issuing copyright claims, or YouTube's demonetization policies.
Okay.
And because of our business partner, CuriosityStream, us creators are given opportunities to pursue much grander projects with a higher production value. Both of the videos I've currently got only on Nebula are exactly that. Both of those videos feature footage from CuriosityStream's documentary Amazing Dino World, a brand new CuriosityStream
I always thought
original
T-Rexes were
that's easily on par
stupid.
with Walking with Dinosaurs in production quality.
Like, they're dumb.
And you can get access to their documentary and
they're
My Nebula
useless.
originals at the same time.
They're just
the
eating
best way
machines.
to get access to Nebula is through our bundle with CuriosityStream,
Oh,
which
that's
gives
stupid.
you access to both amazing streaming sites. And hey, if you just want to learn more about pachyderm builds, there are plenty of other documentaries on CuriosityStream you can watch too, such as Ice Age Giants and Walking with Beasts, both of which have entire episodes.
I'll pause this. This is the best dinosaur. That's the best one right there. Nobody's gonna be able to beat that one. Yeah, fucking right, dude. There's nothing better. Basically an elephant. This is an elite elephant. This is an elite elephant right here. Think about that. Look at a velociraptor? No, dude. Like, I mean, I couldn't see anything to be able to beat a triceratops, alright? Ankylosaurus? I know what that is, alright? The point is to actual tank. Yeah, this is actual fucking tank. And, Ankylosaurus? No, they're just big and beefy. Right? Stegosaurus? What's he gonna do? Hit him with his back? How the fuck's that gonna happen? Not if he's extinct? Yeah, I mean, that is true. You know, obviously it didn't really go that well for them. Elephants suck. I think they're stupid. I do. I really think elephants are fucking dumb. Like, they look really cool, and I don't know how, like, how can this thing be real? You see what I'm saying? Like, they're stupid. But, like, a hippo? I feel like hippos are way more badass, you know what I mean? A real velociraptor is barely bigger than a chicken. Yeah, people think raptors are like these big-ass dangerous things. It's like a bird, man. It's just like a bird. Like, just walk away.